The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Heart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host, the Honorable Quentin Hart.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Heart for the City. I'm Quentin Hart, proud mayor of Waterloo. And when I visit other communities, I retain all bragging rights to this amazing city with so many worthwhile events, places, people, and things going on all the time. And certainly a place to be envied. To quote Governor Terry Branstad, Waterloo, Iowa, after experiencing economic challenges throughout the previous 3 decades, embraced the challenge of reshaping its industrial heritage to succeed in modern times. And he further referenced Cedar Valley Tech Works, which he said has made Waterloo a nationally recognized leader for manufacturing and innovation. We highlighted the Tech Works in Heart for the City in episode 18. But also, he pointed out that John Deere continues to be a leading manufacturer and innovator in Waterloo. And however positive the facts of Waterloo's economic growth, we are not resting on our proverbial laurels. We have recently appointed a full-time economic development specialist who works in our planning, programming, and zoning department. So stay tuned, more on this new position after this.
Traveling to Waterloo is easy. Waterloo Regional Airport, served by American Airlines, offers daily service to Chicago O'Hare with connections to over 700 destinations worldwide. At Waterloo Regional Airport, you'll find friendly ticket agents and helpful personnel so you can fly through security. And with close-in vehicle parking at only $5 per day, Waterloo should be your airport of choice. Waterloo Regional Airport and American Airlines, your partners in air service from the Cedar Valley.
The newly created position of Economic Development Specialist allows the Planning and Zoning Department to provide a special focus on one of our most important efforts, and that is bringing more businesses and industry to Waterloo. So it pleases me to introduce Adrienne Miller. So welcome, Adrienne. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am great. Oh, she's going to interview me now. Well, let's take a moment to get to know you a little bit. So, Adrienne, why don't you tell folks what's your background, your education?
I graduated from the University of Northern Iowa in 2011 with a background in public administration and with an emphasis in community and regional development. After graduation, I initially went off to the Blackhawk County Assessor's Office. Worked there for a few years where I gained an extensive knowledge of the taxation system.
Okay.
Anything from how the assessor's office comes up with values for structures in the county, all the way to even tax abatement programs or exemptions such as the CLURA and CURA that the City of Waterloo offers today.
So we have to make sure when we say like CURA and CLURA that we kind of make sure that folks out here know exactly what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But when you're putting together or thinking about some type of economic development deal, having a little bit of both worlds probably helps out a little bit.
Absolutely. After working at the assessor's office and coming over to the City of Waterloo, I actually worked in the planning and zoning department just as an associate planner, where I gained the general knowledge of all of the zoning districts and regulations that the zoning department has. So between both of those between both of those entities, I gained a very good background knowledge of not only the codes and regulations for the City of Waterloo, but also the exemptions and taxation purposes.
Which is good, because a lot of people always ask, we want more businesses, we want this type of business, but what approach do we take as a city in trying to attract business?
We have a number of different approaches. We've worked with the Greater Cedar Valley Alliance for a number of years, not only with local businesses, but state, national, and even international businesses, bringing them to the City of Waterloo. But most recently, we've actually started working with Buxton Company. They are based out of Texas, and they are a retail they work with retail companies and
Right.
also municipalities such as the city of Waterloo, making those matches to these cities or between the cities and the retail companies, just expanding not only economic development for the cities but also the retail base for the retailers.
Right. And we have a myriad of different programs, a lot of initials, but in 2016, I believe, for single-family houses, we were able to work with developers to probably build more than we built in decades.
Correct.
And we have a special program for that?
Correct. Depending on where you are in the state, or in the city, I should say, we have what's called the City Limits Urban Revitalization Area. That is one that encompasses the entire city,
Right.
and that is for single-family and two-family homes. They receive a 100% tax abatement for 3 years after the
Wow.
construction is finished for the home.
So did you hear that? 100% abatement for the construction of a new home for how many years?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And so that's been a program that has really taken off and really excited economic developers, housing folks, and realtors as well.
Absolutely.
And I hear that we're going to try to bring some more people together, right, to kind of move that forward again.
Yes. Initially, the CLURA was adopted in 2011, and at that time, or prior to that, the city actually gathered the GROW Committee, is what it's basically a housing task force that put together some ideas and implementations in order to rejuvenate the residential construction in Waterloo, and that has worked greatly for the city of Waterloo.
Well, it's absolutely turned around the housing trend for the city. But what's amazing about it is when you bring such creative people to the table, it's not us telling them what they should do. It is
Correct.
saying, how can we think outside of the box? How can we incentivize more housing, more development, and more opportunities? So absolutely thank you for taking the lead on that. But as we transition to the business sector, we went to Des Moines a couple months ago, and there's a site certification, if you want to talk about that.
The city of Waterloo recently received a site certification designation for the South Waterloo Business Park, which is just located near the corner of Highway 20 and Amesboro Avenue. It's approximately 181-acre site. Essentially what this process is we work with the State of Iowa Economic Development Authority and another third-party consulting firm, and going through all of the different regulations that a developer might have to go through prior to a developer even getting to that site. So this would entail locating all of the utilities, whether it's existing or what we would extend to that area, or even doing geotechnical reports, historical reports. The total process length for this particular site was approximately 2.5 years from beginning to end to get this site certified. So it was a great accomplishment once we were able to go to Des Moines and meet with the governor.
And we in our city, we have one of 16
sites in the state of Iowa.
And where we have advantages too, because I never thought about the fact that, our water system is an economic development tool that businesses looking at. Normally people say, well, your taxes, you got to take a look at your taxes. But when a business comes to the city, and when we're talking about manufacturing or industry, they're looking for your systems,
how much capacity our systems can hold, whether it's going to be electrical, whether it's gas or sanitary sewer or anything along those lines, water capacity. A lot of that comes into play, especially with the city of Waterloo. All of our designated areas, whether it's the Northeast Industrial Site, the airport area, or the South Waterloo business, they all have their unique, different, respective things that they can, utilities that they are able to handle. So
and rail.
Correct. rail is definitely a major part in Waterloo too. So.
I know we have problems with some of the rail, but it's a tool for business and companies that they're absolutely looking at. This is probably this interview, out of all the interviews we've done on here, gone by the quickest. But we absolutely want to have you back on at some time, because there's so much to what you do and, you know, calling. And we're not just looking locally for businesses now, are you?
No. We've been working nationally and even internationally, or with international businesses. So, you know, hopefully we keep all of those coming and we see some big projects coming up in the near future.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you, Adrienne, for taking time out of your busy schedule to tell us about this exciting and most important function you are taking on for the city. Best of luck, and we will want you to return to the show in the future to fill us in on the progress that's being made in the area of economic development. Thank you.
Thank you.
City government has a multitude of facets. For example, economic development, public safety, and sanitation, among others. One function, and a very important one, deals directly with the public, making sure that the rights of each citizen is known and respected. But the Human Rights Commission fulfills many other functions as well, and we'll be right back for more after this moment.
I'm Chinese.
I am Russian.
I am East African.
I'm Canadian.
I am Filipina.
I am Irish.
I am
Bulgarian. Korean.
I am American.
I am Brazilian.
Italian.
Mexican. I'm British.
Swedish.
French.
I'm Israeli.
Mongolian. I'm South African.
Japanese.
We are mankind.
In mid-2010, Mayor Buck Clark offered the executive directorship of the Waterloo Commission on Human Rights Commission to Reverend Abraham Funchess. He was a former Human Rights Commissioner and director of the Iowa Commission on the Status of African Americans. He was one of 27 applicants for the job, and since then he has been passionately working on behalf of a diverse group of individuals to ensure equality in education, housing, economics, etc. I am pleased to welcome Executive Director, Pastor, Author, Lecturer, Actor, Director, I remember being in a play, and historian, Reverend Abraham Funchess. So welcome to the show today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Well, absolutely honor and a blessing to have you here. But when we talk about the Human Rights Commission, you know, that could be a broad topic, but tell us exactly about the Human Rights Commission and what it actually, let's reverse. Tell us a little bit about you before we move into the business part.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say that I'm a fan of historic trends, and so I want to say to you, congratulations on the historic mayoral win.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to serve with you at this particular time in history.
Sir.
And with human rights, of course, our main mission is to protect the personal dignity of all Waterloo citizens and try to reduce discriminatory barriers that prevent them from living up to their fullest capacity.
Okay. And many different functions, but are you originally from the Cedar Valley, or are you transplant, or?
I'm a transplant. I'm a transplant. I'm originally from South Carolina, and I've come over now in the year of 1994, met my wife, have a child who's currently going to Iowa State, and just fell in love with the people here, so I'm happy to be here in Waterloo.
And I think that's important because having diverse, growing up in different areas from here and bringing all that together and working with people here, you know, the diversity of experience is absolutely important. And you have a Human Rights Commission as well.
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the commission and what they do?
Sure. Right now we have, as an acting director, Eric Dunant, and there are 9 commissioners that make up the Human Rights Commission for the City of Waterloo. And each of these commissioners are subject matter experts in a wide array of areas, and they're doing much to serve the community in those capacities.
Very diverse group, and they help you to carry out the multiple functions of the Human Rights Commission office. So if you want to tell us a little bit more about that, you have a staff that you work with and those things also, right?
That's right. I have a dynamic staff. We have a full-time secretary as well as a full-time human rights specialist. We are also blessed to occasionally get interns from the University of Northern Iowa or maybe Hawkeye Community College. And together we have been able to recover over $500,000 in economic relief for many of the citizens that have come to the office to file a complaint, whether it be a housing complaint or an employment complaint.
And you do a lot with public education too, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about some of the things that you do to inform the public about their rights?
Sure. For instance, coming up on May 23, we hope to have a Human Rights Town Hall meeting. And at a meeting like that, we will interface with the public and just kind of let them know exactly what their rights are with respect to filing complaints, whether it be a housing complaint or an employment complaint. And then, of course, we also engage, as you said, in other public education pieces that deals with the very human right, civil right of getting a public education. So we serve on the Equity Committee for the Waterloo Public Schools, and we also, get heavily involved with theater, with the Waterloo with the Waterloo Playhouse, or either with UNI's language and literature, August Wilson pieces.
Right. So it is being proactive as well as having to react to some of the challenges that our residents face.
Absolutely.
Another question I have: your department is small, but a big charge. So that means you have to have many partners. Yes. Can you tell us about some of the different organizations and places you work with as well?
Sure. The Cedar Valley Diversity Appreciation Team morphed into what we now refer to as the Cedar Valley Citizens for Undoing Racism group. There have been book studies, there have been other symposiums and trainings around undoing racism that I believe has benefited over 500 people who've gone through the training. We also work with groups like the Cedar Valley Advocates for Immigrant and Refugees, as we try to definitely demonstrate our hospitality to our immigrant brothers and sisters who come to the city of Waterloo.
And that's important because we want to make sure that every thread throughout our entire community, that people are working together, people are partnering together, sharing resources. Because I know you also have worked with the University of Northern Iowa, with Hawkeye Community College, but just a myriad of different people and businesses also that are working to try to help with some of the efforts of equity and education in those areas too. An area that's highly important to this community is the conversation about, well, even let me back up though, because I just forgot about this one. You recently partnered with Sharon Silva and Lori Dale for the
Reaching for Respect conversations.
And what can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, briefly, it was just an opportunity to work with Police Chief Dan Trelka as we tried to engage not only his outfit but also the community at large in terms of coming together to increase understanding with respect to what the police do and what citizens do in response to some of the police activities, etc. We believe that was successful.
And you had the sheriff's office there with Tony Thompson. You had the Cedar Falls Police Department, troopers.
Yes, the troopers were there as well.
And then, you didn't restrict conversation from the residents either, because not everybody there was happy.
Right.
But, that type of dialogue needs to be held within our community so that we can start to break down some of the barriers of misunderstanding as well. But youth violence in the community, too. You work with Chief Trelka as well?
Yes, we work with Chief Trelka as well as Waterloo Public Schools. We're aware of all the ACEs in the community, adverse childhood experiences. And so as we continue to work with all these collaboratives, we're hoping that we can reduce poverty, broaden educational opportunities, and hopefully reduce crime.
And I know you're very active with radio programming, shows, but you're out there where you need to be to get the message out to people. And so what I wanted to say also, neighborhood organizations, is that something in the works or something that you're currently doing or will do?
Well, in the past, we were intimately involved with the neighborhood coalitions that were going on in the city of Waterloo. I understand that you were working with some people that will probably revitalize a lot of that. Yeah. We're waiting on tiptoes of anticipation for that to happen because obviously when we have more people working together, we can accomplish a whole lot more.
And I don't know if the community knows yet, but we did hire Felicia Knowles on a part-time capacity right now in our neighborhood services program so that we can kind of reinvigorate, revitalize, bring our community together, because neighborhoods, as we all know, just like your commission, it's a valuable vehicle for change in our communities. And so trying to work together, trying to partner together and find those linkages is highly important. So We absolutely thank you so much for your dedication to the service.
Thank you.
Sometimes a thankless job.
It's fun, though. Yeah, it's fun.
It's necessary and needed. And a couple years ago, you released a children's book, Rise, which was to be the first of 3 installments. It was illustrated by Shaviva Ferguson.
Yes.
Have you released further editions, and what about that series?
No, right now we're still tweaking that piece. We want to come up with a study guide that has some biblical supports for that, and it's been received well in many circles.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Reverend Funchess, for taking time to fill us in on the important work that you, the Commission, and others are doing in support of our citizens. We will talk to you again as we have just scratched the surface on the many solutions and successes that have been forthcoming in this pursuit of human rights.
Thank you.
5 years ago, around August 2012, the city councils in Waterloo and Cedar Falls voted unanimously to adopt a non-binding resolution outlining steps necessary to achieve Blue Zone certification. This included considering complete streets concept aimed at making roads safe for all users, pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, public transit users, the elderly, children, and those with disabilities. This resolution started the genesis of a whole lot more: exercising, increased physical activities in school, improving worksite well-being, and encouraging healthier food choices, which I need to do better, at grocery stores and restaurants. And more on this exciting path to a healthier lifestyle after this brief message.
According to estimates, over 1 billion people live in appalling levels of poverty. Denied even basic standards of food, water. Nearly half of the world's population earns less than.
When the concept of the Blue Zones project came up at a city council, I was overly excited along with my fellow council members, and we all gave it our full support. And to tell us about one of the most successful programs in the state and the country is Shannon Bass. So Shannon, welcome today. All right, thank you for being with us. So Shannon, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved in the Blue Zones.
Well, right now I am a student at University of Northern Iowa. I'm finishing out my degree in health promotion. So health and wellness has been really important to me. And so through connections with my major and my advisor, I was aware of an internship with Blue Zones.
Okay.
I've always admired the effort, so I jumped on the opportunity. And so I started as a volunteer intern and have worked my way to a paid internship. And so that's where I sit right now. I work with teaming up with community members, businesses, grocery stores, and we collaborate to bring healthy events to the community members in Waterloo.
And you know what's great about this program is that it touches every section of the community. I remember being in church one time, and Sherman, who used to be the PR person, was at the church telling people about how they can get involved, or being at a school, and you got these young people here that are running around and doing Blue Zone stuff. So no matter where you go from, wherever, it had an impact over the overall community. And two parts of the Blue Zone, one was the complete streets, and one was the healthy vending. Can you tell us a little bit about complete streets?
Yes. When we tried to get certified, we had to, as a community, meet certain criteria. And so one of the areas was city policy. So with the Cedar Valley, or with the Blue Zones project, there is a menu of choices so that businesses and community members, business leaders can choose what fits right for them.
Right.
So the City of Waterloo decided to work on the Complete Streets policy and healthy vending. So the Complete Streets focuses on making transportation safe and available, regardless of whether you're driving a car or biking, to promote safety, but also to promote wellness. With the healthy vending, all the city buildings have a policy set that at least 50% of what's in the vending machines is to be healthy. So if there's 8 spaces for food or drink, 4 of those need to be healthy choices.
Yeah, and it's funny, we just spoke with our great executive director of this program, and he said he gets an opportunity to eat almonds, or what was it, almonds or nuts, but in a Snicker. So we're going to have to work on him, right?
Yes.
But, and it's important because, traditionally, you never really think about when you go to like a vending machine and you look up there whether or not there are healthy choices that people can have as well. So that's important. And it also going back to the complete streets portion of it, when I take a look at the way Highway 63 is now, before it was limited access, the trails weren't there, but this could kind of be a model of a complete streets because now you can bike, you can walk, it's even more safe than it was before. So it's really transforming the way that we look at our community and the way that we believe that we need to have safer streets. So that's great as well. But what does it mean and what does it benefit a city to hold that title?
To hold the title of Blue Zones Project, we are trendsetters for wellness, for community wellness. So we actually were one of the first demonstration cities to be chosen. And so we actually have other cities. The program has expanded to other states, Hawaii, Florida, Oklahoma. And so we have them in other cities in Iowa coming to us asking for advice on how, what has worked, what hasn't worked. And then we've had visitors from as far as the Netherlands coming to research the impact that Blue Zones Project has had on our community.
And what's interesting, this past January, I had a chance to go to the United States Conference of Mayors in Washington, D.C. And the city of Waterloo, because Blue Zones was at the core, put together this Healthy H2L program, and we actually won a national award and support for our initiatives with the Blue Zone and our partnerships with Wheaton and the university as well. So that's pretty special. But becoming a Blue Zone city or having that designation, that's not just like something that you can go out in a day or so and get that done. There's actually a process, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was a long road, and it was really exciting. In 2001, there was a statewide competition to become a demonstration city. So community members came together and reached out to our leaders in schools, in businesses, the city leaders, and tried to get everyone on board, and there was a resounding yes. Right. Yes, we want and need this for our community. And so after that, we went through the criteria that we had to meet, and in 2012, we became a certified Blue Zones community.
Right. And there's like names you'll hear involved in the Blue Zones project, but one of them is a walking moai. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, the walking moai is a term from Okinawa, Japan. It means, basically means coming together for support. So it was originally a way for villagers to come and get support from their community. And so what it is a small group of people that come together for common interest. So we really promoted with the Blue Zones the walking moais because we can get people together walking and talking. The movement portion is very important, but so is the socialization. So we've moved beyond walking moais throughout our process. We have kayaking moais and snowshoeing moais. Cycling moais are really big too.
Right.
And then we also have the occasional healthy potluck moai.
All right. And we have something like a moai, maybe not exactly, that's occurring on May 12th. Yes. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, on May 12th we're doing the Walk Waterloo. It's a community-wide event. We're going to do a walk run, about a 1 mile. We're going to start at Lincoln Park and end at Lincoln Park. So we're going to do a loop. It's open to all community members, and it's a celebration of well-being in Waterloo. It marks the 5-year anniversary from when we started our journey to the Blue Zones Project. And so we've worked with the Cedar Valley Sportsplex and you, Mayor Hart, who has been an awesome supporter since the beginning. And we are so grateful to have such leadership that is supportive of the Blue Zones Project and really has been enabled us to sustain and grow the program in our city.
Thank you so much. And to add to your point about the May 12th, and it's the 5-year anniversary as well, but it also gives us an opportunity to take a healthy approach to seeing all the progress that's being made downtown as well. We get to walk past this landmark or see where this improvement is, but it's a healthy way to celebrate who we are as a healthier community, but also one that's able to show progress in areas as well. And we'll end right back there for the first Friday Lou of the year as well. So plenty to celebrate. So thank you so much for being here with us, Shannon. And thanks to all the staff and volunteers at Blue Zones who are working to help transform the way our community members live, eat, work, play, and go to school, all leading to a healthier and happier and more productive life. We'll be right back after this message.
I love coming here. There's so much we can do. So many opportunities for the whole family. I can try new things, and I don't have to worry about additional fees. I've got time for me when there's so much for them. Cedar Valley Sportsplex, where active lifestyles take shape.
Looking for something to do? For entertainment, shopping, eating, and much more, go to travelwaterloo.com for complete listings of so many activities, places, and venues. Well, that's our show. We welcome your suggestions and feedback. Remember to tell others that these episodes are available for viewing from the new City of Waterloo website, and that's cityofwaterlooiowa.com. And you will see the show's YouTube link prominently displayed on the homepage. Please join us next time, and thanks for watching Heart for the City. Until then, I think you'll agree it's a great day to be in Waterloo.